We're back on the morning brew. I love this. This is great. My buddy Andrew Fernstan is here, an artist, and you've had some great work, and some of your new work is going to be at it's going to be a big event with the New Mexico Water Collaborative, and this is Yvette Tovar, you're the executive director of that. What is the New Mexico Water Collaborative?
So we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and our mission is focused on solutions to the water crisis in New Mexico.
And even on a day like yesterday, we had that big, huge downpour. I mean, my house was just almost flooded out, it seemed like, with like 2 inches, 3 inches of rain. But that's not enough?
That's not enough because we are in an ongoing drought situation. So at the end of the day, we are still consuming more water than we're replenishing, right? And so that's not sustainable.
Right.
And we do definitely still have issues that. I mean, it's great when we get it, but it doesn't mean we're in the clear.
Right. And you guys are looking at conservation technologies and some conservation things to make sure we keep water in the aquifer and where it belongs,
right. So we're focused on installing conservation, reclamation, so water reuse and water reclamation technologies for communities throughout the state.
So what does that mean? Is that like the stuff like low flow toilets, that kind of thing? Or
Absolutely, that's included. So it's everything from capturing rainwater for storage and reuse. It could be in our landscapes. It can be looking at high efficiency, low flow toilets, right? The efficient shower heads. It can be energy efficient washing machines, right? That use a lot less water than conventional machines.
Right.
But it can also be about looking at treating wastewater. So we have a project right now where we're treating up to 2,000 gallons of wastewater on site for an apartment building that we'll reuse to feed an urban green space in the Sawmill Community Land Trust.
Oh, I've read about that. That does sound like a very cool project.
Yeah,
I've been fascinated too by the stuff they're doing at Windrock, because the idea with Windrock is to make it, I think it's water neutral.
Yeah, they're trying to recycle water and reduce how much fresh water is being pumped to keep that going.
And this is a thing, there's a lot of runway in this for New Mexico, isn't there? There's a lot of places where we can look at this and say, wow, we can solve water problems here and here and here and here.
And that's the good news. So we're focused on the solutions, right? So you're right, we have a lot of problems regarding our water resources.
But each one of those problems is an opportunity.
Right, and that we really are the solutions as a community, right? In our efforts to conserve, to reclaim, to reuse water, we can figure out what we can do for this.
So how bad is the problem here? Are we looking at, is it millions and millions and millions of gallons, or is it just a handful? I mean, is it like just a little sliver of the water that we need to conserve?
I would say that, so various communities throughout the state are relying on different aquifers, right, to pump their water.
Albuquerque is.
So Albuquerque is definitely, and so we know that we're pumping more water out of that aquifer than we're replenishing. So that's a negative situation, right? And so if we can't reduce how much we're pumping, or we can't replenish it, excuse me.
That'll go dry.
Then we need to conserve how much we're actually using, right? What is the indoor water demand for a building or a home to function, and how much can you reduce it by your indoor appliances? What are the opportunities to recycle water when the rains do come, right? What an amazing opportunity yesterday was for cisterns to catch water and to reuse that water in the coming months, right? As opposed to being this deluge of water that comes and it's gone.
It's just gone, right? And then Andrew, you're here because your art is part of the big event these guys have coming up, and I think we even have a photo of one of your pieces here. I love this. And what's this piece called?
This one is called Mesa Desert Path.
Excellent. And how did you get involved in this?
Well, boy, I think you guys contacted me. If I recall.
So we had an idea to have an art event fundraiser this past spring. So we issued a call to artists in the area and titled our event Water in the Desert. And it really was to see if there were artists in our community who responded to the reality of being in an arid climate with our environmental situation, and how did it inform their artwork?
How does this inform your artwork?
Well, the desert is beautiful.
Yeah.
The desert, the fact that we live in an arid climate is wonderful. It's great. Right. But we have to learn to live there, to figure out some kind of relationship with the land that allows us to be present, to be awake to that beauty, and at the same time be respectful and be able to survive there. So, so I think my work is an attempt to try to help us all do that. Standing with the peace of mind, I hope it encourages us to slow down and to be present.
That's great. And then we're looking at some pieces from other artists too.
Right. So we have 11 artists that are going to be showing their work. Our event is this Saturday, the 26th, from 2 to 5. And we have sculptures, as you can see. This is hard as nails. It's like And Paula Steinberg is the sculptor for this piece.
That
and
looks like
it's
the hard
really-
water that comes out of my faucet.
Right?
Yeah.
I know, it's a little sad, but it makes a statement. This is a piece by Carla Forrest, oil paintings, called Early Thaw. This is Pamela Weselek, and she's a printmaker, and this is a piece called huecos. And huecos are actually depressions in rocks in the desert that when it does rain, they collect a little bit of water that wildlife can sustain.
Oh, I've seen those. I've seen
Yeah,
those.
so
I never
this
thought
is-
even to name them.
Yeah, so they
Oh,
have
that's
a
cool.
name, and that was her abstraction of that. Yeah,
I love that.
So it's pretty diverse in terms
Yeah.
of the type of artwork that we'll have.
So how did you get involved in water stuff?
That's a good question. So my background is actually in landscape architecture.
Oh, okay.
And I worked for an architecture firm in Albuquerque, Decker Parrish Sabatini, for a number of years. And it was there that I came to have an understanding about the water situation in our state.
Because you got tired of seeing every home being xeriscaped?
How do we act in a way that's responsible, right? If we believe all communities have a responsibility to use water efficiently, what does that really mean, and how do we do that as a community?
And how did you come to those, or what are the answers? What do you think they are?
How did I come to those? I talked to a lot of people. I had ideas about starting a nonprofit that had to do with water, technology, and community. And so I sought folks out that had special knowledge in those areas to see if the ideas I had were really something grounded in reality, and I think that
they
they
are?
are.
That's always a good way to figure it out,
I think
right?
we're relevant, right,
Yeah.
to what's happening right now.
Well, and there's always this thing when I talk to entrepreneurs on the show, and I've had some water people on the show, they say whenever there's a major problem like a water issue, that also means that there's a major solution that can come with that, and there's an entrepreneurial thing that comes with it. Are you finding now that people are responding in that entrepreneurial way?
I think so. I think that's a really nice way to frame that, actually. Because I think that what happens a lot of times with environmental issues is that people get overwhelmed, right? We have so many things happening that aren't going well, and that individuals, regular people, start to think, what does it matter what I do, right? But the truth is, it really does matter what they do, and that together, collectively, as we all take responsibility for our part, we absolutely impact the situation.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Great. And Andrew, when's your next show?
Zendo Coffee, Friday the 2nd.
I love it.
6 o'clock.
Sounds like a plan. We'll see you at the opening,
hope
and we'll
so.
see you guys Saturday. And we got a whole bunch more show coming up today. We got a packed house. The green room is full back there. We got folks from Bocon coming up in just a second on the Morning Brew.